Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Across the Stages podcast brought to you by AbsoluteMotorsport.com and the Alloy TV. I'm James Casey, and joining me today is Joshua Suttel. And of course, Wales Rally GB has just finished over the weekend, and the championship is still as hot as ever, with Thierry Neuville still in the championship lead, but his lead down to 7 points now over Sebastien Ogier, as Ogier brought his form back with a crucial victory, and Tanak 23 points behind now after the heartbreak on Saturday afternoon from a comfortable rally winning position. It was a very interesting rally. Sebastien Ogier came out on top, and this was the result that he really needed, wasn't it?
Definitely. I mean, first win since Corsica, and the result that Tanak really didn't need. He had such great momentum. I was pretty convinced that if he did kind of pick up the win this weekend, that would be it. The title would be his. He'd take the championship lead and just probably would be unstoppable. But now, even if he does continue to have the pace, I do feel like that momentum is maybe sort of stopped now. The confidence is going to be really low. Tanak said it's his lowest point. How he comes back from that, I think is really going to be crucial. But yeah, Ogier made the most of it, whereas Neuville, down in fifth, a couple of mistakes. You feel like this weekend he really could have put one hand on that trophy, but it was Ogier, wasn't it, that capitalised most.
Yeah, and of course, in the last rally since that summer break, we've seen a real shift. Tanak taking over as the dominant force, Neuville struggling, and it all looked like it was going to come together between those two, with Ogier maybe just a little bit outside of it, but now everything has really shifted. And of course, there we were talking about Neuville not having the best rally with that slide into a ditch. Of course, ending up in fifth position, and he's only had one podium since the summer break in those four rallies. Quite unfortunate in Turkey, but things just not going very well for Neuville at the moment, and you get the impression that he's really going to have to make a sizable change in the remaining two rallies if he's going to hold on to this championship.
Absolutely. I mean, the pace just wasn't really there, so it's not just reliability, but complete different world to what we saw in the first half.
So yeah, Tanak, as we said, it was 20. I got it wrong. It's 21 points he's behind, not 23. But as you said, he has got that momentum. He could still win the next two rallies, but he's going to be asking a lot, isn't he, to make up those points. Neuville and Ogier have really got to slip up, so that's going to be difficult for him. Do you think that he has got a chance, or is it not quite there for him?
Well, OJ's the ones with experience, he knows how to sort of win championships. I feel like that kind of inexperience in championship sort of situations is really coming through for Neuville. And I feel like Tanak is maybe sort of the second favourite now, and would probably put Ogier as the favourite. So even though Neuville is leading the championship, I'd probably put him as the sort of third man that's most likely to win this championship. So it's really, really close to call. It's a bit of an obvious statement, but this next rally is going to be really, really crucial. There's obviously Sebastien Loeb thrown in there as well. So it's going to be a difficult one for all three of them. But the driver that can sort of make the most of that one will set themselves up pretty nicely, even if they are, like Tanak, 21 points behind.
Now, talking just about Wales Rally GB itself, of course Ogier took that victory coming back after problems on the Friday. Tanak lost the win, but Toyota are still picking up some crucial points in the Manufacturers' Championship, with Jari-Matti Latvala in second place and Espeka Lappi completing the podium. I thought it was a really strong event for Latvala, the best that we've seen in a very long time from him, challenging Ogier on Sunday morning. I think that was the Jari-Matti of old that we really saw in this rally.
Absolutely, this is probably Latvala's best rally at Toyota, since those kind of opening couple, when he won Sweden last year. So, yeah, really, really strong second half for Latvala. This is his third podium in four rallies, so that power stage win as well, that was pretty good going up against Ogier. So it really felt like the Latvala rolled, so a good return to form for him. Lappi up there in third as well. So as you said, really, really good for Tote in terms of that manufacturers. We talk about who's the favourite for the drivers. That's a difficult question. But if you look at the manufacturers, I think you'll pretty safely say that Toyota are in the best position at the moment, because all three of their drivers are podium contenders pretty much every single rally.
Yeah, and I think that is pretty much, as you say, going in Toyota's favour because Hyundai just haven't quite got their other two drivers firing, have they? With
Uh,
Mikkelsen and Padden having a pretty poor
but
event
Sordo,
here.
Sordo at Spain, though, to be fair, that could be a good sort of
Mm.
opportunity for them. He's run well there in the past, so that's going to be a crucial one if they're going to win. They need Sordo on that podium.
Yeah, in general, I think Hyundai have gone backwards since the
Mhm.
sun break quite substantially, and the results just really haven't been there. And I'm just looking through now, actually, the results. They've only had two podiums between all of their drivers: Padden in Turkey, and Neville in Germany. And neither of those rounds they really had fantastic pace in, did they? Those were kind of events where other people had trouble. So yeah, Hyundai in a bit of a state at the moment, actually.
I mean, one podium for Mickelson as well this season. You know, after what we saw last year, what we saw at the end of last year, I was really, really confident of a real good season for him, but just hasn't worked for him.
Yes, that is pretty interesting stuff. And Citroen, I think, are making steps forward because they were. I mean, they're still not quite there, are they? But I think that this event showed that they were pretty strong. Craig Breen quite close to the win before a spin on Sunday morning, but he was still able to pick up fourth position. And Mads Osberg was in eighth, but he was pretty close to the Hyundais just in front. There was only about 10 seconds separating fourth to eighth in the end. So Citroen looking a little bit better. And of course, while we've been gone, Sebastien Ogier has announced that he's going to Citroen. So will he be encouraged by these signs that the Citroen's getting a little bit better on these kind of rougher, lower grip events?
No, definitely. I mean, there's real potential in there on that car. I mean, it can win rallies. It's just the sort of consistency, the reliability that's sort of into question. But to be honest, I have no doubts that Ogier is going to be successful. To be honest, you know, a lot of people, of course, sort of shocked by that news, or sort of thought, well, you know, what is he doing? Sort of going to what looks like the worst car, what looks like the worst team. But they're going to throw a lot of money, a lot of resources. I'm sure there'll be a long, long winter program as well to really get that sort of car in shape for Ogier because they can't afford to sort of have off weekends, to have crashes next year. A lot of focus is going to be on that team, of course, with Ogier there. So it's going to be really, really interesting. It should just continue to sort of balance out this field. But I think more than anything, it's a shame for M Sport. You know, not having that forward backing was obviously making the difference. Ford just weren't willing to sort of, you know, make a proper investment into the team. They've lost Ogier, and you know who are they really going to gain? There's not really a big name out there, and they'll probably have sort of Evans and Sunderland sort of carrying on, and then maybe someone with money. You know, maybe Craig Breen might find a home there. So it's a bit of a sad situation for M Sport, but definitely an interesting one for Ogier. Do you think he'll be able to win a championship in a third different car and team?
I think he definitely can, but it will be, I think, dependent on whether Toyota take that next step for me. Because if Tanak can win rallies like he did in the last three and have that extra reliability, there've just been a little bit of problems with landings this year, weirdly. It seems to always be heavy landings that take them out of contention. So I think if they can sort that, then it would be really hard for Ogier to beat them. But I think he'll definitely be there or thereabouts. As you say, you can never write off Sebastien Ogier. Yeah, I think it will be really interesting next season, especially if he goes in as champ as well. I think that will really help. Or even not, he's still going to have that added motivation of trying to win the championship back. What else have we got? We've got Chris Meek, who could have been that driver, couldn't he? He could have been the guy to replace Ogier at M Sport, but it looks like he's heading off to Toyota, and he's probably going to be coming in for Lappy, who's Citroen bound. And yeah, this is an interesting move, but should be really interesting seeing Meek in a Toyota.
Would just be nice to see him in something different. You know, it's been so long since we've seen that. I think a sort of different environment will be really good for him. He's a driver that, of course, can win rallies. He's a driver that can, of course, crash out of rallies as well. So we'll see which way it goes. Hopefully, he'll get a full season. But I think it's probably more of the same. But hopefully, he'll be able to get some wins on the board. And that is a real strong lineup. You know, having three drivers that can win rallies My only concern though, he doesn't seem to be the best sort of support driver though, I'd say. If you're kind of getting behind Tanak for a championship push, is Chris Meek really the person you want in that team?
No. See, I think I'm surprised that they haven't gone with Breen. I would have thought that would have been a good option
For the way they've
to
treated
do
him
that.
though,
I think, to be
you know,
honest,
benching him after Sweden, I guess as well after he got that podium.
mm, but yeah, I think to be honest, with how well Toyota are performing at the moment, I think you could chuck pretty much anyone in that car in that third seat, and you'd still have a strong lineup. But as you say, yeah, three drivers who can win pretty much any rally, I would say. Maybe not Yari, but that's will be really, really interesting to see next year. Not confirmed just yet,
True.
but it's pretty much a certainty with Lappy going off to Citroen, and then, as you say, what's going to happen with Breen? Probably M Sport. But that's all the the driver rumours. We will be getting confirmation of more stuff very, very soon, so we're able to just make sure that things have definitely gone as we thought. But that's how things look like they're going. Looking forward now into Spain, and of course Sebastian Loeb is back for this rally, his third and final appearance of 2018 as a guest, and that will be a really interesting one to see. Of course, Ken Block making an appearance as well, which should be interesting as well. But what do we think about Loeb's chances then in this Spanish rally?
Can absolutely win the rally, I think. It's going to be fantastic though because we have this sort of championship dynamic between the three contenders, and then we just sort of throw Sebastian Loeb in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be great because he's got nothing to lose. The three guys are going to be thinking about the championship. He can just absolutely go through it. Take that win. Give Citroen a much needed boost. Give them, of course, what would be their first win of the year, wouldn't it? So that would be great for the team, great for Loeb. His two rallies so far, he's shown such good pace. It just didn't go his way in either of them. So I feel like maybe third time lucky for him this year, but I am a little bit worried that similar results can happen because, like I say, he's literally just going for it. He's having some fun, but yeah, he's absolutely a contender for this rally. So what do you think? Is this going to sort of unsettle the other championship contenders? Is he going to be clear of them, or do you think because they're pushing for the championship, they're going to be on his pace or even sort of quicker?
I think it's going to be super, super close. I think if you'd, because it was quite early in the season when he made those other appearances, I think it was a little bit easier for him almost because he didn't have a whacking great gap like he's had like he's had now, where everyone else has done lots of rallies. So it might be a little bit trickier for him. But as you say, I think it'll still be really close with them. I can't see him being dominant. But yeah, I think it'll be a really good fight. I'd love to see all four drivers going for the victory, but I can't see Neville, unfortunately, competing at this rally. But certainly, I think OGIER and Tanak could be really, really interesting to see up against Sebastian Loeb, and yeah, I think that could be an absolutely cracking thing to watch. Anyone else you think that could be up there?
Well, Sordo should be up there. He's probably ahead of Neville, but obviously they'll probably swap the positions,
Yeah.
won't they? That'd probably like a awkward situation for them to be in. So yeah, no, he's one of those drivers that sort of looks like he's going to win it, and then sometimes spins it, sometimes gets sort of bogged down. But yeah, this is one of the rallies he can definitely win. He's been on real good form, to be fair to him, this year. He was sort of last year and previous years sort of just Mr. Consistent, bagging those places. But I feel like this year he's gone on more of a push at certain rallies. Mexico, he very much could have won. Had it not been for a puncture. So, yeah, I'm expecting good things from him. I just hope he gets to the end and gets a decent result. But yeah, he'll probably be used to sort of drop back, give Neville some more points, or take points away from the other contenders. But yeah, I do believe it's between those five. I can't really see anyone else. Maybe Latvala as well because he's got good form. Lappy possibly, but it's mainly between those five, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think that will be really cracking rally, as we've seen. The last few have been very good events, and I think Spain will continue on with that. The team orders thing, we're really getting to that point of the season now. As we saw in Turkey when we had Evans pulling over from 7th to let OGIER get 10th, which I thought was quite interesting. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that in the last 2 rallies now, with the teams really trying to boost their contenders up. So I think that could really help Citroën not having to worry about that. They can just go out and try and get their cars as high as possible. But also in Spain, we've got the WRC2, which is going to be really interesting to see, because this is the culmination of all of the development programs coming here in Spain. Skoda, of course, have dominated the year. Jan Kopecki will be there, looking to secure a 4th place to wrap up the championship. He'll be joined by Kalle Rovanperä, who dominated in Wales in WRC2, won by over a minute over champion Pontus Tiedman. That was incredible from Rovanperä, so we've got him there as well. Then we've got 2 Citroens, Ollie Christian Weber, who's just switched over from Skoda to the Citroen team. We've got Stefan Lefebvre, of course, in the Citroen. Then we've got the 2 new Volkswagens as well, with Petter Solberg coming back and Eric Kamely as well. Then Jari Hütten in the Hyundai. We've got absolutely everything in WRC2 in Spain, and who on earth is going to come out on top?
Well, usually this would be easy for Jan Kopecki, just get 4th, seems easy enough, but when there's so much talent, so much, strength in depth, probably the best entry list we've had all year, best entry list we've probably had for years in WRC2, it's going to be very, very difficult for him. But he will be probably playing a bit of a conservative game. A lot of those guys there will be absolutely going for it, trying to get that probably last class win of the year. No one tends to really go to Australia, so this is sort of the last big event. Rovanperä, of course, like you said, absolutely dominated, blistering pace. He should be, I think, back on the pace as well this weekend, so he's probably the favourite on pace, but obviously still consistency, got some way to go. So you can never rule out Kopecki, of course. Then you got the 2 Polos, Petter Solberg. I'm not sure if they are going to be able to sort of win, on debut. That seems like quite a hefty feat, especially from what we've seen from Hyundai and Citroen when they debuted their cars. There were quite a lot of teething problems, reliability. So, we'll see. What do you think? Do you think they can win on debut?
Unfortunately, I don't think so with Petter Solberg. I think he's been out of it for too long. I think 2012 was the last rally he's done. So I can't see Solberg. And Kamely's form hasn't been great this year. He did quite well in Germany before he had a problem. Maybe Kamely then. I don't see Solberg, unfortunately. I'd love to see that, but maybe Kamely. But there's always that question, as you say, of reliability, teething problems. I suppose with it being 2 days of really smooth asphalt, that might play into their hands. I'm not sure, but day 1 I think is going to be really tricky for them. That could be where it's won or lost, maybe.
I think Lefebvre as well, the Citroen's pretty good on sort of asphalt, so when it moves away from the gravel bits, maybe watch out for them two as well, like you say, Vaby as well, Matt. A good change for him, I think. His time at Skoda didn't go very well. His time at Citroen hasn't started well either with, what happened in Wales, but I think there's good potential there, so like you say, it's really going to be too close to call in both the main class and WRC2 as well.
Yep, so that is pretty much that then. We've got a fantastic event to look forward to in Spain, and a very good Wales Rally GB just behind us. And if you're wondering what the footage behind has been during this podcast, that was stuff that I managed to record while I was there. So I hope you've enjoyed that footage, and there will be a video up as well with the audio of all of the footage that I managed to get from that rally, so look out for that in the coming days. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the podcast. We'll be back hopefully after Spain, and then looking forward to the finale in Australia. The final 2 events of the year are going to be absolutely cracking. I can't wait to speak to you then.